Beslan Siege. On the 1st of September 2004, in the town of Beslan, North Ossetia, an armed group stormed school. No one on the first day of the new academic year. More than 1,100 people, mostly children, parents, and teachers, were taken hostage. Over the next 3 days, the world watched one of the most tragic hostage crises in Russia's history, which ended with heavy loss of life. The attackers, largely from Chechnya and Ingushetia, were linked to the separatist movement that had fought 2 brutal wars with Russia. Their goal was to force Moscow to withdraw troops and recognize Chechen independence. Against the backdrop of instability in the North Caucasus and escalating violence in 2004, a school in Beslan became the site of a devastating assault. From September 1 to 3, hostages were confined in a cramped gymnasium without food, water, or medical care. Explosive devices were planted throughout the building as threats, and several hostages were killed to increase pressure. On the 3rd day, after a series of blasts and gunfire erupted inside, Russian security forces launched an assault. The battle raged for hours, with tanks and heavy weapons employed. By the end, nearly all of the attackers were eliminated, but the cost was immense. 334 hostages lost their lives, including 186 children, and hundreds more were wounded. The harrowing images from Beslan shocked Russia and the world. The Russian government faced criticism for poor coordination, inaccurate reporting of hostage numbers, and the extensive use of force during the rescue. Many victims' families accused the authorities of mishandling the crisis, arguing that negotiations should have been prioritized over military action. The tragedy revealed both the brutality of the Chechen insurgency and the weaknesses in Russia's counterterrorism strategy. In its aftermath, the government tightened national security, expanded the powers of security forces, and increased centralized control over the regions. While these measures reinforced state authority, they also reduced democratic processes within the political system. Today, Beslan remains an unhealed wound in Russia's memory. The gymnasium of school, no one has been preserved as a memorial, and the City of Angels Cemetery holds the graves of hundreds of victims. Each year, from September 1 to 3, people gather to light candles, bring water, and lay flowers in remembrance, especially for the children. In historical analysis, Beslan is regarded as a tragic turning point, symbolizing the immense cost of the Chechen conflict and marking Russia's entry into an era of centralized security and tighter political control. Sadr City. On the 23rd of November 2006, Baghdad's Sadr City, a district largely inhabited by the Shia community, was struck by a series of coordinated car blasts, followed by mortar fire raining down on surrounding areas. The timing was deliberate, just past noon, when the marketplace was at its busiest. In less than an hour, at least 215 civilians lost their lives, and more than 250 others were wounded. It was one of the deadliest single days of the Iraq War. The backdrop was the turbulent period after 2003, when Saddam Hussein's regime fell and power shifted dramatically. The Shia community rose to political dominance, while many Sunnis were sidelined. Security vacuums and the rise of sectarian militias pulled Baghdad into a spiral of violence. Just days earlier, a prominent Sunni cleric had been assassinated, inflaming tensions. In that climate, extremist Sunni groups tied to al-Qaeda in Iraq were believed to have chosen Sadr City as their target, aiming to provoke Shia militias into retaliation and drive the country further into civil conflict. The attack unfolded rapidly. Several car bombs exploded minutes apart at markets, bus stations, and crowded intersections, maximizing casualties and sparking secondary fires. As rescue workers and residents scrambled amid the chaos, mortars struck nearby neighborhoods, worsening the disorder. The tactics, precise timing, crowded locations, and multiple waves showed the careful planning and reconnaissance behind the operation. The immediate impact was devastating. Casualty numbers mounted throughout the day, as many people with severe burns and trauma did not survive. Market stalls, vehicles, and nearby housing were heavily damaged. On the streets of Sadr City, grief quickly turned into anger. Shia militias fired mortars into Sunni districts, attacking mosques and residential areas, expanding the cycle of violence. The Iraqi government imposed a 24-hour curfew across Baghdad, shut down the airport, and deployed additional security forces. Religious and political leaders appeared on television, urging restraint, but in the short term, retaliatory violence was difficult to contain. In the longer view, the Sadr City attack became emblematic of the sectarian civil war of 2006-2007. It pushed Iraqi and U.S. authorities to revise security strategies, launching the troop surge, establishing neighborhood checkpoints, and attempting to separate militias from civilians. The lessons drawn were clear. Breaking cycles of urban violence required protecting vulnerable sites like markets and transport hubs, controlling the flow of weapons and explosives, building non-sectarian security forces, and combining hard security with community reconciliation to undercut extremism's fuel. For Baghdad's residents, the 23rd of November 2006 remains remembered as the dark day of Sadr City, a stark reminder of the destructive power of sectarian hatred. In studies of the Iraq War, the event is often placed alongside the Samarra shrine bombing earlier that year. If Samarra ignited the spiral of violence, Sadr City brought it to its peak, underscoring that rebuilding order is possible only when urban security goes hand in hand with deeper political and social reconciliation. Mumbai Attacks. The Mumbai terror attacks of 2008, commonly referred to as 26/11, stand as one of the most severe security crises India has faced in modern times. Over 4 days, from November 26 to 29, the country's financial capital was thrust into the global spotlight, as 10 armed militants from the extremist group Lashkar-e-Taiba carried out 12 coordinated assaults. By the end, 175 people had lost their lives, including 18 security personnel and 26 foreign nationals, while more than 300 others were wounded. To understand the shock of this event, one must look at the context. India and Pakistan had long endured tense relations, largely centered on Kashmir. In the 1,990 seconds, Lashkar-e-Taiba emerged, reportedly with training and support from across the border. The group had staged multiple attacks before, aiming to weaken India and promote a wider militant agenda. Later investigations revealed that, beyond Lati's involvement, elements within Pakistan's intelligence network may have played a role, intensifying already fragile bilateral relations. On the night of November 26, the attackers arrived by small boat, landing on Mumbai's shores. Splitting into smaller units, they struck symbolic, high-profile sites: Chhatrapati Shivaji Railway Station, where thousands passed daily; the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, a historic and luxurious landmark; the Oberoi Trident Hotel, frequented by business leaders and international visitors; and Nariman House, a Jewish community center. Popular cafes and restaurants also came under attack. For 4 days, the bustling city descended into chaos. At Chhatrapati Shivaji Station, gunmen fired indiscriminately with rifles and grenades, killing dozens within minutes. At the Taj Mahal Palace, a massive fire broke out on the upper floors as militants seized control, trapping hundreds inside. The siege lasted nearly 60 hours, broadcast worldwide in real time. Similar standoffs unfolded at the Oberoi and Nariman House, where India's elite National Security Guard commandos conducted painstaking operations to retake the buildings. Local police, poorly equipped and underprepared, were quickly overwhelmed. Many officers fought with limited protection until NSG units arrived from New Delhi. Fierce battles ensued, particularly at the Taj, where militants held their ground until the very end. When the violence ended, the toll was staggering: 175 dead and more than 300 injured, including victims from multiple countries. One attacker, Ajmal Kasab, was captured alive, providing crucial testimony. His interrogation offered conclusive proof of Lashkar-e-Taiba's involvement, forcing Pakistan to acknowledge partial responsibility. Kasab was publicly tried and executed in 2012, closing a significant chapter in the legal process. Beyond the casualties, 26/11 exposed alarming gaps in India's security apparatus, from equipment and emergency response to intelligence coordination. Public outrage spurred reforms: the creation of the National Investigation Agency, the strengthening of rapid response forces, and tighter coastal security to prevent infiltration by sea. Internationally, India-Pakistan relations suffered a near breakdown, with peace talks suspended. The global community pressured Pakistan to rein in Lateh and other extremist outfits. For many, 26/11 became a textbook example of cross-border terrorism, compelling nations to reassess their defenses and security partnerships. In India's collective memory, 26/11 is often likened to America's 9/11, a defining moment that reshaped national security thinking. Annual memorials are held at the attack sites, particularly the Taj and Chhatrapati Shivaji Station. The tragedy has been retold in books, documentaries, and films, including the 2018 movie Hotel Mumbai, bringing the story to a worldwide audience. For India, 26/11 is not only a day of mourning, but also a constant reminder of urban vulnerability and the importance of vigilance in an interconnected world. It underscores how a single event in one city can reverberate globally, serving as a shared lesson in security, cooperation, and resilience.